Hey guys, I welcome by video the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, Mike Lindell. Mike is also a financial backer for the new film Unplanned, starring our friend Ashley Bratcher. The movie tells the story of former Planned Parenthood clinic director Abby Johnson. Mike, welcome. Thanks for taking the time today, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, I want to talk about the movie, but first I want people to understand why someone like you would back this movie. So give me a little quick snapshot of your conversion experience to Jesus Christ.
Well, God was always chasing me for my whole life, but I had a lot of seeds planted when I was young, and I ended up being a cocaine and a crack addict, and God freed me from all those addictions on January 16, 2009. But then I still, you always see me on TV with my cross and everything, and I met a gal in the summer of 2014, and she had a relationship with Jesus that I didn't have, and I wanted that. And I wasn't until February 18, 2017 that I went to this a retreat. It was actually it's called Operation Restored Warriors, and I did a full surrender, and I'm able to speak out for Jesus now, like with the same passion of a pillow.
Well, man, it's really changed your company and your outlook on life, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's the chairman of our board. I had this. I would always, pray about stuff, but I'd be reactive in prayers rather than proactive in prayers. And it might not have been God's will. Where now, if you God's will is in the Word. If I stay in the Word, now they seem to manifest all the time. We put Jesus Christ, our chairman of the board.
Yeah. All right. So as a bridge to talking about the movie, were you pro-life before your conversion experience?
Yes, I was not. I guess I didn't. Back when I was on crack, I didn't have too much either way, and it's kind of like my politics. I didn't know a liberal from a conservative. I didn't know, I was just kind of very naive for everything that was going on.
Okay, so how did you become involved in this movie, Unplanned?
Well, I got a call last year. I was leaving for Israel, and my gal and I were in a plane. I got a call from a guy I hadn't talked to in about 3 years, and he had two other producers on the phone. And he said, "Mike, we prayed about it, you're gonna be in our movie." And I said, "Well, I haven't prayed about it yet." And they said, I said, "Well, what is it?" And they told me what it was, this true story of Abby Johnson. And she was the youngest director of Planned Parenthood. And then what she had seen, and she had completely flipped to pro-life. It was her true story. And I said, "Well, let me call you back." And I said, "How soon do you need to know?" And they said, "Well, really today." And I said, "Well, let me pray about it." We got off the phone. I prayed about it with Kendra, and I called him back in 5 minutes. And I said, "You know what? I'll do it. I'll do this cameo if it's a really good movie. I want it to be quality too, not just with a good message. Tired of seeing movies out there that have good messages, but they're just poorly made."
Yeah.
And they told me how much the budget was, and I said, "Well, are you short anything?" And they said, "We're short $1 million." And I said, "Just a minute." I said, I got off the phone for a second, wired $1 million, and not with no contract or nothing. I did it on faith. And these guys, I find out later that they got it already told them that too, because that day was kind of like 0 hour. They had to have that money that day, or the movie wouldn't be here apparently. And
wow,
I got back from Israel, and we filmed at a secret place down in Oklahoma, but you could just see from that point on, the attacks kind of started. We couldn't have the music on it. The music industry turned down. They didn't want certain music on it. And then we had, as you know, they gave it an R rating, and they gave it a lot of the stations, a lot of networks would not let us advertise the film, and it's been very rewarding though, seeing how God's timing for, here we are killing the unborn in New York and killing the born in Virginia. This stuff, and to see this all in God's timing, get the word out. And everybody said it was kind of like the election in 2016. Oh, there's no way you're going to do this much. It's going to have this many people seeing this movie. And when it did launch last week, they even Twitter took it down for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, they took down my Twitter. They locked up mine too. I mean, it was like, what's going on here? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the
It's
fix
hard.
is in.
Yeah. They can't even hide their bias anymore.
Right.
Uh, you know, all right. So I was going to ask you about that. In a world where we're boycotting everything, everybody's offended about every little thing.
Right.
Have you received any blowback or controversy for supporting the film at all?
Well, I'm used to it. As I went all in for the president when I met him in the summer of 2016, I see he's going to be the greatest president ever, and I went all in with no. God led me, that we prayed about it, and I did that. And same way with this film. And yeah, I get people come up, they'll go boycott Mike Lindell and MyPillow, and then the other ones say, "Don't boycott him; he'll double his ads. We see enough of that guy." So that's where I'm
Nice.
at. And
Nice.
I actually seen less than I expected for personally this time. I've kind of broke through I get stuff all the time where people, even way on the left, will go, if you talk politics, they'll go, we love what you're doing because I'm doing so much to help addicts, the inner city and stuff and they go, but what's wrong with your brain? That I'm doing these other things. They can't realize it's, I'm not political. I'm common sense. I'm for our pragmatic. I mean, this is common sense. Yeah. There is a commandment called "Thou shalt not kill." Yeah. I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah.
Probably one of the simplest commandments.
Well, as far as your advertising goes, man, I appreciate, and folks really appreciate guys like you that, when we're calling for boycotts for Laura Ingram's show and Hannity and everybody, you're standing firm and say, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And so that matters, man. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I do. I get with those guys. I get boycott MyPillow. They put a whole list up. Well, I'll tell you what. Every time that happens, what happens in these boycotts? So all the advertisers go to the other spots on the same networks, and prices go up, and the consumer pays for it. I mean, what is the boycott going to do? If I told people, if I boycotted all the cable channels, the news networks, some of them badmouth me directly, and I don't boycott them. Yeah. I mean, I still sell on them. MyPillow. Yeah. I do what's best for MyPillow and my customers and my and my employees, and I'm not going to change. And at least for me, I think if more businessmen realize if they just stand firm and do what's right, and just ignore all the noise, it's amazing. My best day at MyPillow. We're sitting here. Here it is again, another day. It keeps going up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with this movie, why do you think this story, as we wrap today, why do you think this story needs to be told?
Well, because I think with these are huge seeds planted that are going to save not only the unborn and the born, but also save souls. I mean, God gave us grace on November 8th, 2016, when we got a president that's so pro-life and everything else, so pragmatic, common sense. And we're going to look back someday and we're going to say, wow, what were these guys thinking back then with this word, even the word abortion? They're going to, I think it's going to change. I think we have a path that we were on, and it was going down a very bad path. And now, everybody I think is out there going, making this, this issue of putting out the awareness. And we got a thing at the end of the movie too, where it's a help center. It's a help where you can get help. That meant so much to me. Someone that's had to deal with it. I have so many friends and that have had abortions, and they live with that. There's two victims, the child that's gone, and then the person themselves happen to live with that, thinking it was okay. Now this is might change their heart, but they're gonna be able to have a place to call to get help.
Right. Right. And I think it's great that we're not condemning women that's had an abortion with this movie.
Not.
We're not seriously bashing the employees of Planned Parenthood, making them, this big enemy. It's a help and a support to get them out of that situation with Abby's ministry and everything. So
absolutely,
man, it's awesome. All right. The film Unplanned is in theaters now. Go support it, guys. You can get tickets and find out more about the movie at Unplanned.com. Mike, thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. God bless.